Hi, dear one. My name is Nanaya from Love and Freedom Life Strategies. I'm a health and life coach. We're talking today about step 2 in the 4-step system for how to ask for what you want and get it. Yesterday, we talked about accessing and acknowledging the truth of what you really want. Today, we're going to talk about how to ask for what you want. Cue all of our fears, right? Because this makes us very vulnerable. So instead of assertively asking for what we want, we find all sorts of other ways to kind of passively to, ask questions or to hint around. We want to make other people responsible, so we assume that other people know, and then when they don't respond the way we want them to, we're angry or frustrated by that. We want to believe that people can read our minds. We think it's a should, right? Like they should know. They should know what I want. They should know what I need. We cannot assume that other people know what we want. We cannot expect the people in our lives to be mind readers. When we do this, we're wanting to give away our personal power and our personal responsibility. Once again, we want someone else to kind of decide for us that this is okay for us to have and want. Now, this might seem really foreign to you, this idea of asking, how do I ask for what I want? If you grew up in a home that used really direct communication, was really assertive, maybe you're already really good at this. I did not grow up in a particularly assertive home. There was a lot of passive communication, indirect communication, maybe at times passive aggressive communication. So a great example would be I'm sitting in the living room and I'm saying, I'm really cold. It's really cold in here. It's really cold in here. Don't you find it cold in here? That's passive. That's indirect. The assertive or direct way of communicating would be to say, would you please close the window? Or I want you to close the window. Please close the window. That's just a really simple example. But all the time we do this, we hint, we ask questions, we beat around the bush, or we just hope that someone else will know, should know. There's another idea that I find really interesting, the spontaneity myth, that we think if we have to directly ask a loved one for what we want or need, that it ruins it. If I have to ask them, then it ruins the whole thing. They should just know. So let's get rid of these myths, of these ideas that other people should know or should be able to read our minds. Let's get rid of that. We need to take full ownership of our desires and responsibility for asking for them to be fulfilled. And this is the key to freedom. The opposite of giving away our power and wanting others to be responsible for us is freedom, is peace, is the fulfillment that we're really wanting to create in our lives. So this statement, if so and so would, then I could. So if my kids didn't have so many needs right now, then I could take better care of myself, for instance. By looking at the world through this kind of paradigm, if so and so would, then I could, we're making other people a thief of our joy without their consent. And there's this idea that if I make a direct request, if I'm saying I want you to, I would like, that there's something that sounds selfish about that. To make a direct request instead of being silent but resentful or angry at somebody is a more loving thing to do. It's actually the less selfish option. Give people a chance to respond to our assertive, direct request. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 11, Jesus says, ask and you will receive. Seek and you will find. knock, and the door will be open to you. Jesus wasn't afraid of direct communication. That's easy to see as we read about his life. He was very direct and very clear in what he wanted and what he expected of people. So get used to practicing and saying phrases like, I want you to, I don't want, I like, I don't like, I would like, I would not like, would you, will you please, would you be willing to? Practice saying these ways of beginning sentences, of making direct requests, taking full ownership of what you want and responsibility for directly asking for it. A fantastic resource if you want to delve into this area of passive and direct communication and learn how to be more assertive in your communication is a book by William Backus called Telling Each Other the Truth. I found this book life-changing when I was a young person. I started reading it and I couldn't even believe that so much of my communication was actually quite dishonest and quite disempowering and quite unloving, in the sense that I was expecting something of someone that I'd never directly asked them for. I was letting them be a thief of my joy without their consent. The loving thing to do is to make a direct, assertive request. So practice this in your prayers. Practice this with someone safe in your life. And practice maybe eventually with someone who is a little scarier. This is how we grow. This is how we grow by doing scary things. Thank you for being with me today. Let's continue to practice together. This is a challenging one. You can do it. Peace to you today.